could end up killing himself.
You gave me remains. Lift me up, you stay.
7:40 in Trinidad and Tobago. Well, for our final interview this morning, and you just heard a bit of the latest release by the artist Issa, and it's called Pictures. He's a Trinidadian musical artist, and he's been in the business for quite some time. With this most recent single, Pictures, it's referred to as an anthem to all those who are experiencing or going through some sort of loss. Issa is with us now. Thanks very much for taking the time to join us.
Thank you for having me for the free greeted editions. It's been
good to have you with us. You're breaking up just a little bit, but let's hope that we can hear you quite clearly as we continue with our interview. Tell us a bit about Pictures.
Pictures is one of my first release in this style of music. I've been very hesitant to put out music that I feel comfortable with, and I decided to lead with Pictures because the story behind Pictures is very personal for me. I wrote that song for my brother, who was murdered. Honest man, a father of five, very close to us, and I felt like Pictures was the first time I was able to ever speak on how I felt about losing him. And I felt like I wanted to honor him in such a way that I just wanted to start my career in putting out pictures first. It's really just me expressing how I felt, about losing him, as a religious person. We deal with hurt and we deal with loss very differently. We kind of understand it. And, this was just me saying a farewell kind of goodbye for the first time, speaking out openly, so that's what Pictures is about.
And it has that real melancholy ring to it, and hence you can understand the tone that you're trying to create. What sort of reaction have you gotten to it so far?
It's been really amazing, it's a bit saddening because of the history of the song and what the song is about. But people have been reaching out to me and, expressing how they lost their loved ones too. And this song really brought it home for them because, they are able to feel what I felt, when I lost my brother. And they remember the people that they lost. So I encourage them, use this song as some kind of healing, some sort of, way to deal with that kind of hurt, you know what I mean? For me, like, the idea behind Pictures and all, I was talking to a friend earlier on, and I was telling them, like, me putting out pictures to the world, it's like Trinidad has a problem right now in terms of crime, and I feel like hopefully people could listen to Pictures and feel like, we need to change what is going on. When I lost my brother, I didn't feel, I was angry, but I didn't feel like going out there and hurting someone. I didn't feel like going out there and take a soul. I felt like something is wrong here. And this is how I want to deal with it, by sending a message out there that you all are hurting people are hurting people, and we are not dealing with the situation properly. We need to deal with things differently, So to me, like, I just hope that Pictures, can really reach people in their hearts, where it really matters.
And before we continue the discussion in that direction, Issa, just so that people could be aware, where can people find Pictures and find your work generally?
Oh, you can find my work. I'm on social media as Mind of Issa, MIND of ISSA. You could find Pictures music video on YouTube, any streaming site, anything that you listen to, whether it's Apple Music, Spotify. My music is always out there, so you can find me anywhere.
And just tell us a bit about the trajectory of your career. As you said, Pictures has a clear, specific focus and a specific inspiration for the way that it's composed. But tell us a bit about your career and what moved you in this direction.
Okay, well, I always feel as though Trinidad, has a wide range of musical elements. We have always been creatives, and I felt as though I want to express myself the way I feel comfortable doing it. And it may not be soca, it may not be dancehall, and it's okay. I think what I'm trying to do here is show Trinidadians that we can do different types of music and still do it to the best of our ability, like what we have been doing, and open a floodgate of artists that are doing alternative music, that we can present to the world and say that Trinidad does all of these things. We are not restricted to any genre of music, So the mission right now is basically to show the world that we're doing different things here. Also to encourage persons to come on board and feel free with your art, and don't feel limited or anything like that. Also, my music, I believe, I'm trying to heal people through song. It's very difficult, sometimes, but I take up on this journey and I'm going forward with it. And, I just hope to help people along the way. My music.
And just it's an interesting perspective, and I'm always interested in asking artists, performers, entertainers, however you characterize them, as to whether or not you think it really makes a difference. Because as you said earlier in the discussion, the crime problem that we have. Do you think those who are actually perpetrating these things even listen or even care to hear a reflection on a loss, a reflection on a circumstance? Is it actually reaching anybody to make a meaningful difference? It might be an unfair question because you can't know exactly how that kind of mind would operate necessarily. But do you think contributions like this really make a difference in a positive direction?
I think it actually does. I've had conversations with people who you would consider to be going on a certain path. And after they listen to Pictures, I've had one guy come to me and cry, and he felt sad for, contributing to that type of lifestyle. And to me, that was a real wake-up call. I understood immediately that this is possible. People can change and people want to change. I don't think anybody wakes up in the morning and feel like, I want to be bad. I don't think that exists. I think circumstances may push them in certain directions and things like that. But even if they feel that way, they could feel not to feel that way. If you know what I mean.
I hear you on that. I hear you on that, Issa. But just on that point, as you say, people might wake up thinking that they want to be bad, but it might be that their idea of good, you might see it as bad. I might see it as bad. They might think it as that by their circumstances, by the way that they've been treated, by the way they've been sidelined or marginalized by society, that they have no choice, and therefore this becomes their right. So at the end of the day, how do you transform something like that where people feel, for whatever reason, and of course there might just be a criminal intent, but there might be others who feel that, look, because of circumstances, this is my life.
Yeah. I think we need to do a lot of work on the ground, and part of my journey as an artist is to speak to people openly. A lot of people don't understand right from wrong, and it takes other people to open their eyes for them to see certain things. Just like that same gentleman I was just talking about, he was able to open his eyes and see certain things. And if for a moment had some kind of change in his path, then I felt as though we started the journey already. And we need to get into the youths, we need to get into the schools, we need to get into on the ground in the communities and talk to them. Because it's really going on a road, Trinidad, I'm telling you, we are very close to losing what we have as a sweet home. And if we don't make the steps now in terms of getting on the ground and dealing with these things, we're going to lose it forever. I really believe what we're trying to do in terms of the music and changing the hearts of people, I really think it's meaningful and something that is worth a shot.
And just before we conclude, Issa, and it's been a privilege having this discussion with you, do you see a conflict, though, between trying to create some level of positive transformation and also wanting to be commercially successful?
There is a conflict, but you have to know your actions. Your actions are judged by intentions. My intention, firstly, is to reach the people. I grew up in hardship, and maybe one day Allah will grant me ease. But my intention first is to deal with the people. If along the way Allah reward me, I would feel so happy about that because I'm putting in the work and I'm trying to provide for my family and stuff like that. But hands down, if there is a conflict, I need to deal with the people first. I need to deal with the ground first. It's way more powerful than being successful and being rich. To help,
Indeed, it's really enjoyed. I've really enjoyed having this discussion with you, Issa, and indeed talking about your latest release pictures. Just remind us again before we conclude where people can find your work very quickly.
Okay, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Mind of Issa. You could find my music on YouTube. Issa Pictures. I have a lot of different songs, and I'm trying to do more. And I hope that Trinidad continue to support me and, feel what I'm trying to do. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate the opportunity, Thank you so much.
We appreciate having you with us. Assalamu alaikum. Thanks very much for taking the time to be with us.
Take care.
7:51 in Trinidad and Tobago. As we go to the break, here's a full moon rise captured on the East Dry River of Port of Spain. Very nice, very beautifully presented from a first-time contributor who frequently views the show. Thanks very much for that, and thanks as well for this very nice image as we head to a break.
Tripping, staring at the moon. Why you had to leave so soon? When they took you away, the pain it stayed more than 1,000 days.